our show, 184 Days Teaching Truths. We have a really good show today, hoping to get to 2 topics. I'm Carrie.
I'm Christy, and I'm going to introduce our fabulous interviewees today. This is Tara. She teaches first grade. This is Christina, and you teach
first grade.
And this is Jenny, and you teach
primary autism.
Primary autism. So these are new teachers that we're going to be talking with today and doing a little bit of myth busting and kind of learning what it's like to be a new teacher. Seeing as Carrie and I are, old teachers.
But we look good. For
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I will agree with that.
Remember
27 years in for me, 19 years for you.
Yeah, less than 20. I'm the baby here.
Yeah, you keep saying that.
Uh-huh.
So, all right. Well, let's get our show started today, and let's start out with the funny, because we always like to start with something funny.
Mm-hmm. Who's going to go first, you or I?
Alphabetical order.
Okay, I guess that's me.
Is it by last name, though?
No.
Okay.
I'll go first. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a new teacher story that happened to me. And so I was in my little second grade classroom teaching, and the fire department shows up. Now, back in the day, so this doesn't happen to you guys anymore because the firemen don't show up anymore.
Yeah.
But back in the day, the firemen used to come to the school. Now, the teachers would all dress up on that day.
Yeah.
Like,
knew
we
they were
make sure
coming.
our hair was done, and we're like, we're just waiting for you. So here I was as just a little puppy, and they walk in. There's like 4 of them, and they walk into my room, and I'm like, okay. There's a fire. And I'm like, oh, all right, what do I do? Okay, kids, line up at the door. And I'm like, I don't know where the fire pole is. Nobody showed me where the fire pole was. This was back before they, did a central one. And so lining up my kids, and I am stalling like you wouldn't believe. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to do now. And so I just started looking at them, and I go, I don't. And they goes, wait. We got another call. We got to go. Never mind. And they walk out the room, and I'm like, oh, dodged a bullet.
Oh my gosh.
And so after that, I go to my neighbor and I go, where's the fire pole? And she's like, oh, it's over there on the wall behind the cabinets. I'm like, great spot.
Yeah.
Can't see it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I actually had the firemen get mad at me once because this is when I taught first grade. And I had a little friend in the bathroom, and they came in and they said, there's a fire in your trash can. What do you do? So I had the fire pull, and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to pull it, but I'm not going to pull it now because I have a first grader in the bathroom. And they're like, but it doesn't matter. If there's a fire, you have to pull it. I'm like, but what if he comes out and he hasn't pulled everything up yet and he's terrified? So I was like, there was like this back and forth, and I was purposely stalling. And then thankfully the little guy came running in and all was well. But I got some major stink eye from the fireman. That was not actually cool, but I forgive you. You're doing your job. It's fine.
I know. And the teachers really do wish you'd come back.
Yeah.
So just telling you, firemen, I know you're not watching because it's a teacher show. But in case you're married to a fireman.
Yeah. We don't mind visits. All right. So I want to tell my funny story. Okay.
Go for it.
I've never told this on live TV before, so just get ready. Okay. So I am not super sociable, but I worked up the nerve to go to the staff party that my principal was having, and it was my first year teaching. And I was a young mom. I had my son was like a year, 18 months, whatever. And it was a pool party. It was summer, end of the school year. And I'm doing my hair and makeup, but I'm wearing like swim shorts, right? Because I'm thinking, oh, this little toddler, he's like going to splash in the shallow, and I'm just going to be there, with him, obviously. And my husband went, and he was like, oh, you're not swimming, but you are swimming. I'm like, no, I'm just going to be with my son while he's splashing around in the shallow. I have my hair and makeup done, whatever. So we go to this party, and I'm getting into what I think is the shallow, holding my son, who's 18 months, 2 years old, something, we're going in, and I realized very quickly as I go underwater that there is no shallow. It was like a fully, just all the way around. It was the deep end, right? But for some reason, it was like an illusion. So it looked like there was like a slow, gradual. So I go fully underwater, hair and makeup totally done, terrified because I'm holding my son who is not wearing floaties, life jacket or anything because I thought it was shallow. I'm holding him up over my head. And there are people splashing around. My husband's like, something about this seems wrong. So he reaches into the pool and picks up the 2-year-old. And then I come up and he's like, what happened? And I'm like, I think I just fell in the pool. And my hair is all ruined and my makeup is whatever. And we go back to school Monday and going around the whole school that I fell in the pool during the staff party. And honestly, I haven't been to one ever since, because that's what happens when you put yourself out there. You fall in the pool with your toddler. It was very embarrassing. But anyways, enough about us. Let's get to our new teachers. And John, would you mind putting up slide number 1, please? So being a new teacher is like trying to fly a plane while building it. Do you guys agree with that statement?
Yeah.
To a certain extent. Yes. Okay. So should we get to some of their questions, Christy? Some questions we have for them? Or
But how about we have you guys introduce yourselves? So tell us a little bit about your background, like, how long, like if you've been teaching a year or two, we know what grade you teach, and then what made you get into teaching? So let's start with you, Tara.
Okay. Hello, my name's Tara, and I, as you know, teach first grade. This is my second year teaching, and I went through the ALTA program through CCSD and Nevada State, and so that stands for Accelerated Licensure Teaching Academy. And what brought me into teaching? Well, previously I was working in like the physical therapy world, doing exercise physiology, teaching people how to exercise, that kind of thing. But I wanted to take a step away from that and work with children. And I originally went to college for education, but switched my major a couple of times. So I just kind of went full circle back into education. And so far, so good.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Christina, how about you?
All right. So I was a stay-at-home mom for several years. And then once my kids started growing up, I decided, okay, let me just go into subbing. Then I started taking college courses. And then after subbing, I had a teacher actually tell me, she's like, this is so natural to you. She's like, why don't you become a teacher? Well, right after that, a program through UNLV came out. It was called the PPP program. And I went through that, and that's where I'm at today.
All right. And how long have you been teaching? Is this your first year? Or?
This is my first year, yes.
All right. And Jenny.
Hi, I'm Jenny. Let's see. I will start with, I was a stay-at-home mom also, like Christina. I started volunteering at schools, at both of my boys' schools. And from the first day, like volunteering, there was like this peace and joy that came over every time I was at the school. And I just couldn't get enough of being there. I'm like, oh, I wonder when the teacher's going to need me back. Aww. So when my boys were old enough to be,
I love you.
to be more self-sufficient and stuff, I decided to get a substitute support staff license, which turned into a support staff job, which turned into then subbing. And I'm now 3 months away from graduating at UNLV through the same program Christina went through. She actually told me about it.
Okay. So you're within your student teaching right now.
Yes.
Awesome.
But I'm doing a vacancy sub position for primary autism.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I'm super excited.
So you're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I was always jealous of the people who sub before they taught, because I didn't do it that way. I worked in daycare, which is similar but different. And so the people who subbed always seem to have like a leg up on everybody. They seem more natural, more capable, just a lot more with it than people like me who walked in their first day and was like, what is happening here right now? So yay, you guys. That's awesome.
You definitely get that experience.
Yes. Yep. And some freedom to make mistakes without, like always having an audience. You're just like, okay, I messed this up. We're just going to try it again differently next time. And that's okay. Right?
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Should we get to some questions?
I think so. Your turn.
Oh, my turn?
That's your
okay.
turn.
So I'm going to let you choose. Do you want to talk about an unexpected positive experience of teaching or an unexpected negative? And you don't have to all choose the same thing. You can just kind of choose what it is that you want to talk about.
We'll start with Christina this time. We'll start with her first, see what she thinks about something that either you thought, wow, this was like, I didn't expect this to happen, but it did. How great. Or, oh, gee, that one, I never saw it coming.
Oh, man. I probably want to say like a positive experience, like an unexpected positive experience. I want to say the love of math now. I was always really bad and terrible at math. Now I'm actually getting it and understanding it and like, okay, and I can actually teach it.
Mhm.
So that's probably one of my biggest positive experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah, math is so
I know
fun.
that I had the same experience as you where I felt a lot more comfortable like when I was teaching it and understanding it a lot
Mhm.
better because I was teaching it.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. Anybody else? We want to hear some negative too. No, just kidding. I got enough of that. I can tell you some things.
I can go.
Jenny.
An unexpected positive this year would be the support and like the help from every single teacher and admin and staff at school. Like it doesn't matter what grade level they are, the fact that they're, gen ed and I'm sped, they do whatever they can to help me out because
That's awesome.
and they're like, well, next time, try it this way, it might work better. So it's so nice and just reassuring to get all that extra help. And I'm learning and I write most of what they tell me down so I don't forget it for
Yeah.
when I'm actually teaching like my own classroom after
Mhm.
graduation and stuff. So that was an unexpected positive, just the outpouring.
Yes.
Yeah. I do feel like teachers are a really giving group. Okay. To the point, like they will always put other people first and then do their stuff last. And then they come running in like 5 minutes before, like, hurry, let me get this done. So that's super cool. Okay. We have to acknowledge a boatload of people in the chat. Hi, Erin Phillips. Hello, Tiffany Small.
Hi, Dave.
Oh, yeah. I can't read them all. Sorry.
We're old and our glasses don't work
I
that
know.
well.
Hi, Eileen. Thanks for watching us.
Yes.
We're definitely looking for comments. Yeah, and anybody who's a teacher out there, if you want to share your positive or negative, I'm sure you remember back to your first couple of years. I don't think you ever forget it,
Kind of
to be honest.
I have to tell you. So my positive unexpected when I started teaching was I got paired with another teacher. Like they didn't have enough classrooms when they downsized second grade when I started teaching because I came in January, and so there was an experienced teacher and myself, and she sat down with me and she said, "Listen, we can share the room together and we'll both be teachers at the same time if that's okay with you." And I'm like, yeah, I don't know anything. Why not? So she sat down with me side by side. This is okay. Keep in mind 1998 lesson plan books, not the computer. It was handwrite your lesson plans. Okay. But we'd sit down next to each other. We would plan together. She would model for me and then I would teach it. Like that probably saved me years of frustration and trouble. And I did not expect her to do that. That was completely voluntary on her part. But I learned more about classroom management and how to teach in those 4 months with that teacher than I think I would have learned in years of trying it out by myself. So that was like a huge unexpected positive when I was a new teacher.
And it's cool that you were able to also then go in your room and do it your way. Like you had the feedback and the support and the planning, but you're like, okay, now let me mold this. Right.
Yeah. And so the following year, like when I wasn't in the classroom with her, yeah, absolutely. But I felt like I was light years ahead.
That's awesome.
So I was really lucky. Tara, do you have anything you want to share?
Yeah, I was thinking, being my second year, my unexpected positive was the excitement and the love that I have from last year's students. So just seeing them all, and every time I see them still, we're like over halfway through the year, I just hug them and I'm so happy to see them and how much they've grown. And that was unexpected because you think you're done with your class, you move on to your next one, but they're always going to be with you. So I think that
and
was
they do
really
love you
unexpected.
forever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they come back to you like in the parking lot of the school you're working at
This
now.
big.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And they drive the minivan up. and then they say, "Hi, Miss Grandjean." Hi, do you remember me? I was in your second grade class. And I'm like, and you're driving the car. Oh, it gets better. I have that kid in my class this year. Her son's in my class.
Oh,
So one of my students' kids, I am now teaching. So you're old when
that's pretty cool.
when
Yeah,
you're
that's pretty
teaching
cool.
your
that's cool.
students' kids. So
One of my positives was kind of what Tara was saying, but it's like the rock star or celebrity element where the kids see you and they're like melting. They're like, oh, there she is. There's my teacher. And then there was a time when I was younger that they thought I looked like Katy Perry. So sometimes they would call me Miss Katy Perry, and I didn't mind that so much.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear one of my negatives?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
It was horrible. It's horrible. Okay. So I started teaching mid-year. So I graduated in December, and then I started teaching like right before Valentine's Day. And I was only teaching part-time kindergarten, so just kinder in the morning. And the teacher that I took over for was super sweet and soft-spoken, and she was from the South, so she had that adorable little accent, and she was just a delight. Okay. And then there was me, who came in apparently like a bulldozer. I don't know.
Not you, Carrie.
Yeah. And so a mom like stayed on to help all of the time, even though like I still needed time to adjust, and I didn't know how to handle that as a new teacher. I didn't realize it was okay to say, hey, let us bond for a few weeks before we have parents.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't say that. And so she would go out before I would dismiss kinder and let the parents know how terrible I was. And that I didn't know what I was doing. And that things weren't going quite as smoothly as they had been going before with the other teacher. Eventually we got over that hurdle after a few weeks, and we came to an understanding, and I guess they appreciated me for my bulldozery self. But we survived. Okay. A negative. When a student says you're older than your grandmother.
Notice who that one came in.
Yes.
We're sorry about that.
Yeah.
You look great.
Yeah, I never would have thought that.
No, but I mean, so my kids know how old I am in my classroom, and I've had some of them say, "You're older than my mom and dad," and I'm like, "Yes, I am. My grandma's the same age as you." Yes, I'm sure she is, sweetie. But guess what? Miss Grangie may be old, but she's still smart.
Yeah. I can still do some
I
things.
can still do some stuff.
All right. So let's get into some of those college classes. It's interesting that you three took a different track than we did. So I want to know, what college courses did you find the most helpful or the most useless?
I can go with mine.
Mm-hmm.
The most useless would be my technology class
Mhm.
because I kind of already knew Google in the back end. But I feel like that one, it was just, I'm like, okay, this is boring.
Right.
I kind of knew everything. I knew Canva. I knew all of those things. So making videos off your phone and editing it, I knew all of that. So I felt like that was kind of useless to me.
Mm-hmm.
The most helpful, I want to say the SPED classes that I had to take, because that's, and behavior. No, that was mine.
Okay. Anybody else?
My most useful class so far, considering I haven't finished yet,
Right.
would be my classroom management class.
Mm-hmm.
The professor was awesome, but when I took it, I didn't know that I would be subbing in the way I am right now. So having that like backbone of a class before I started this has helped a ton.
For sure.
The most useless class, probably technology, like Christina said,
Mhm.
because after subbing, like you learn all this stuff because it's already, you're like, oh, this is so cool, and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But that one was kind of boring. It was fun in a way just because it was easy,
Right.
but
Mhm.
I don't think it was really like I didn't learn anything extra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
You probably could have taught it because you already were subbing. You're like, hey,
Yeah.
this is how it works in the real world.
exactly.
All right, Tara, you want to go on that one?
Sure. I can't think of the most useless one at the moment because I still have some more classes to take, so that might be coming up. But I
You're
did
looking
have,
forward to the useless.
Yes,
Useless.
can't wait.
It's a lot of work, but I really enjoyed the math one I took, teaching math, and it just taught about like putting up the math board, the math wall, and different strategies and things you can use to engage the kids. And I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these kids.
I don't know about you, Carrie,
somewhere.
but back in the day, they didn't have a classroom management class. That was not one of the methods courses. It was called Sink or Swim.
Oh,
That's the class I was in, and it was called Your First Day.
Yeah.
right. We did read a part of a book called Love and Logic. I do remember that. Like we touched on it a little bit. John, can we put up slide 4? If you don't mind, please. All right. So shouldn't there be a college course on how to deal with challenging parents. I changed the wording. I didn't like the wording that they had. I'm jamming the copy machine and coming up with a lesson on the fly when the internet goes out. These are the things that we need to know about how to multitask and do a million things at once, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah, because the copy machine jams on a daily basis.
Mhm.
Well, it smells fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't know how to fix it and you jammed it and you walk away, everybody else says your
Yeah.
name and then another word after it,
Uh-huh.
and it's not a nice word. Just gonna put it out there,
Yeah.
right? It's usually I can't believe it, and then you just have to stop.
Right.
So
Yeah.
All right. I think did I pick the last two? I feel like I've been picking the questions. You
Yeah,
want to
I
pick?
know,
I've
you're
been
always-
a hog. Sorry. Hogs and logs. I'm a hog. I'm sorry.
well, there's a shocker.
I know. I'm a little bossy.
Well, no. Not just a little.
I know. So
All right.
I'm gonna let you pick.
So, what would you say is your most helpful experience in your first year of teaching? Like something that you think has been like the most helpful to you, either professionally or personally, to kind of get you through your days, or maybe you just have had some situations that you've had to deal with. What would you say has been your most helpful experience?
I can start with that one. I would say my team last year was absolutely incredible. They helped me just get through everything, and even outside of school hours, we would meet up for the happy hours and whatever. And part of that team includes not just I was fourth grade last year, the fourth grade team, but people that helped, strategists and everyone. So just people looking out for people.
All
That's
right.
great.
Mm-hmm.
Mine would be my team. Absolutely. Hands down my team, because if I don't know anything, I'll come to them and they're open arms. They'll help me right away and stop what they're doing and be like, sure, I'll send that to you. But yeah, my team's been great. Admin's been great. My whole school's been great, supporting. And yeah.
For me, the biggest thing would be two things, like how to include standards in the lesson plan that isn't the 28-page one you have to write for school. But the biggest one would be how to communicate with parents and like how each parent, at least in my circumstances this year, needs to be communicated with differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of learned like that not only like is there differentiation in the class, but now I have to do it when I communicate with parents and stuff
And-
like that. So that's something that they do not teach you in college.
Mhm.
So I'm really fortunate to have like learned that this year.
That's actually a really good point, because even as a strategist, you know that too. Some teachers prefer face-to-face, some teachers prefer email. And then that's actually so smart of you to pick that up with parents. Because even I've been doing this a long time. I'm like, I just want to email them. I even said at the beginning of the year, please don't call me on the phone because I'm not going to answer, because I don't like surprises or cold calls. So you know what you want. I don't know what you want. So I love that you're able to differentiate, because even at this point, I am not able to. It's still like kind of selfish and how I need it to be and how I want it to be. So yay, you. That is actually awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and definitely something that don't you wish that could be included in a class is how to communicate not just children and your colleagues, but then the parents too,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking with so many different people within a given day. When you're talking to your kids, you use a certain tone and a certain way of speaking with them. And then when you're talking to your colleagues, you're talking to your admin, or you're talking to the parents, those are whole different ways that you converse with people. And so if you think about it, we have to turn and put a lot of hats throughout the day,
Mhm.
right? And so it's definitely something you pick up as you go, for sure. I'd say like my first year, I think I would have absolutely died without my colleagues, right? The ones who had been teaching longer than me were my like absolute crutch to, what do I do with this? How do I answer that? And they would be the guide for me. And so I love that now, like 27 years in, that I can be that for other people.
Mhm.
And so that's been a real gift to kind of like turn that around and go, okay, now let me help other people who are new to the profession, because Carrie and I both know it's a really hard profession to be in. And if you don't have each other, you really don't have anybody.
Mhm.
So teachers need each other and they need to support each other. And that's going to keep us going. And that's going to also help more teachers come into the profession and stay,
Mhm.
right? Is when you have a really good team. So
Want to do this, the one in yellow?
Sure. All right. So, what do you think is the most misunderstood aspect of teaching? So, you went in thinking it was this, but it ended up being.
Or what other people may think it is, and maybe
Yeah.
you thought that too, where now you're like, whoa, this whole stereotype or the generalization or what's projected out there is totally off base. It's actually more like this. So a myth we could maybe bust about teaching.
So, I will tell you, I've had people tell me, oh, you only work 9 months. Yeah, no. You don't work 9 months out of the year. You work way more than that. It's just that you're not getting paid for those extra hours, right? Like I know I work throughout the summer either taking classes or I'm like, working on projects that I want to do with my students, or I'm, developing presentations if I'm in a strategist role. So there's lots of things I'm doing that, when I have that downtime, so to speak, and people just think, oh, you work 9 months out of the year and then you just have all this time off. Yeah, no.
I think I've unfriended people on Facebook.
I think you
those
have
comments.
too. Thankfully, it's not me.
That's not cool.
All right.
So do you have anything or no? Kind of like a tough one to think about.
No, I could piggyback off
All
of
right.
that because as a new teacher, you put in more hours, you put in more work. I was going in at least once a weekend, like on a Saturday. I stopped because I was hearing noises. Me being the only one in the building, I was like, I cannot do this. I would hear like creaking noises. I'm like, nope,
That's so scary.
nope. So then I started going in early on Fridays at 5:00. I'm there. So, and then I stay till like 3:30. But I mean, I put in a lot of work. Even on the weekends, I'm doing my slides. So for that, I feel like a lot of people think, oh, this is easy. You can just get away with that. You can just do it. No, like as a first year teacher, you have to laminate. You have to do all of that. You have to set up your room. You have to make sure you put your success criteria and the learning intentions up. You have to make sure that's all good. So then you're ready for the next day, the next week. And that's how.
And then we can do grading. Right?
Yeah.
After we do all of that,
All
then
of
don't
that.
forget to grade the papers.
Yeah,
So-
and cut out. And yeah, there's so much to it. And yeah, that's my biggest.
There's a lot of behind the scenes that people don't see. And I think that teachers are so good at it. Like for you, it was kind of natural. Like when you went in there, like, whoa. And then the peace you feel when you're there, like you do it with so much love and joy that people don't understand all of the work that actually went into that. That wasn't love and joy. It was blood, sweat, and tears, and early mornings and late nights, and multitasking while you're at your kid's game or whatever.
So I want to say to Eileen, thank you. That had, you are absolutely right. Bell to bell with kids is this is something that's not going to happen with first year teachers. I don't know. I'm not a first year teacher. I'm not bell to bell either.
No.
I've said before, I'm there an hour before school starts. Many days I'm there up to an hour after school, plus the time that I'm there during school. So it can be very long days. And especially with new teachers, I'd love to tell you it gets better sometime.
It gets different because you refine.
That's true. And,
Yes.
And you know what? If you stay in the same grade for a long time, then you seem to have that refinement, and you seem to. I've not done that because I keep changing jobs. So, so I'm always
refinement that
looking
you
for
speak
a new
of.
challenge.
And just when you've been in it, like you're like, I got it down. You're like, man, I'm bored. I need to switch it up now.
Yeah.
So you
That's
just create your own problems. John, can we put up slide 2 really quick before we go on break? All right. So, yeah, those 3 days that you get before school starts in our particular district. Yeah. I'm sorry. You think that you have a lot of time to set up your room? No, you don't. You got like 4 hours. And also, at the end of that 4 hours, it's meet and greet. And all your parents and kids are coming to see your wonderful room that's already set up and you're ready to go. And you're smiling and not stressed out. Yeah. Okay. That's a myth right there. That's how I look every year at the beginning of the year. I think I've used it by now. All right. So we have to go on a quick break. We're going to come back. 184 days teaching truths. We're going to talk about burnout and some other teacher challenges. So come back in like 30 seconds. Bye.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas, and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training needs.
Hi, my name is Edgar Alejandro. I'm the co-founder of Rising Again Productions. So we've been here in Vegas producing films for the past couple of years, and we've seen our fair share of studios. We've worked in our fair share of studios, and to be honest, WWDBTV has been our favorite by far. John is so welcoming. The space is wonderful. It's perfect for what we need. We've had rehearsals here. We've had callbacks here. We've had table reads here. So if you're a Vegas creative, or really just a creative coming into Vegas, definitely check out this space. Chat with John. I think you'll find that this studio has everything that you'll need as well.
Welcome back to 184 Days Teaching Truths. I'm Christy. This is Carrie, and we have some guests today. And we've been talking about new teacher myths, and we've been busting some of those and new teacher experiences. We'd love for you to call in. So if you decide to go old school and use the phone, dial 702-992-3207. Thank you for those of you watching on YouTube and Facebook. We sure appreciate your viewership today. And so we're going to continue on with our discussion today, but we're going to switch a little bit into what we would like to call...
Don't say it yet because it's a riddle.
Okay, I won't say it yet.
Okay, hold on. So please call in, because you know there is nothing like hearing the sound of your own voice coming through a speaker system like a microphone. You know you want this awkward moment, okay? Yes, definitely do that, okay? We promise we will not laugh at you when you call in, okay? All right.
Well, Carrie won't.
Well, I'll try not to. Hey, nobody makes worse faces on the show than I do. We were already talking about that before the show. Like every still that we have, it's me making some ridiculous face. So there's nothing you can do to embarrass yourself that I haven't already done for you. Okay.
There you go.
So call us. All right. So I have a riddle for you guys. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Ready.
So what do a teacher, a brain surgeon, and an air traffic controller have in common? John.
Go ahead, John.
He loves my riddles and my games.
They all three make buku decisions every minute.
Oh my gosh.
How did you
know that? It's like you read my mind.
No, I read your post.
Oh, yes. All right. So it's
Cheater, pumpkin eater.
Decisions. I was going to clap, but I'm not allowed to do that. So,
Well, you clap. No, you clap.
Oh,
Don't bang
okay,
the table.
Decisions. Thank you. Can you put up slide 8, please, John?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Right now?
Yes, please. This is important because this is what we need to know. Ever wonder why teachers get pounding headaches? Because students every day.
Wait, teacher?
Oh my
Teacher?
gosh. In middle school, it's miss. And I have a name. Please call me by my name. Okay. So yes, it is actually decisions. So I'm going to put up, let's see. Can we put up slide 6? We're getting some facts up in here. In case you were wondering, teachers make more minute-by-minute decisions than brain surgeons, and that is why we go home exhausted, maybe with a headache at the end of every day, okay? I'm not saying we're saving lives here, but we are making a lot of decisions, okay?
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. And now slide 7, the air traffic controller. This one actually blew my mind. I love numbers, right? You know, I'm a super research nerd, okay? So... research shows that teachers make more than 1,500 decisions and 252 judgments per day. So that rivals that of air traffic controllers. And we got that fact from Edutopia. Did I say it right?
Yes.
It's one of those multisyllabic words that kind of like, you know what I'm saying? So I want to know anybody's thoughts on that. Was that a surprise being a teacher? How tired maybe you were at the end of the day, or how many times you heard your name or whatever?
Or how many times your clothes kept falling further down your shoulder, the more and more they tug on your clothes, because they think you're deaf and blind if you don't respond in 0.5 seconds. And I even said, boys and girls, I am not blind, nor am I deaf. I'm just choosing to ignore you.
Oh my gosh. They think like their need is immediate and you better get there right now because they need you. And it doesn't change in middle school, by the way. I almost got smacked in the face with a clipboard the first week of school because I was rushing from group to group and the student needed my help so desperately that she had the paper on a clipboard and put it in my face as I was walking by. And I had to like stop short, almost knocked my own self out first week of school, middle school, because she needed attention right there.
Yes.
So yeah, decisions.
Well, and I don't know about you, but like I have a hard time remembering everything I need to get done in a day and all the decisions that I need to make. So many times I have this thing called a checklist and I list all the things that I need to get done that day. And then when I check them off or cross them off, I feel so much better. Like I actually accomplished something like worthwhile today, in those 1,500 decisions that I had to make. So I definitely feel like that usually helps me out with all of those decisions that I got to make. What am I going to do with my time? Right. So,
and I guess the official name is decision fatigue. So if we're going to, talk about these things, we have to give it the official name. So decision fatigue. So do not ask teachers what they want for dinner or what is going to be happening when they get home from work, because they do not care. Somebody else needs to make those decisions. Okay. Because we have had enough of that.
Right. I don't know about you, but I go home and I just sit down on the sofa and I have a dog on this side, a dog on this side. And I'm like, don't ask anything. Let me just pet you. And then I'm just going to sit there for like 5 minutes and say nothing. Yeah. But then the puppy asks for food and I'm like, man, more decisions.
Do you guys want to add on to anything about that? Or are you feeling like, yeah, we agree?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
Like I have 3 kids at home and a husband, and Mom, can I have pretzels? It's 5 o'clock. I should be doing dinner. Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll allow it. Like, I don't know. I get tired.
Right. You're tired of saying no or maybe or wait, hold on a minute. Like all your typical responses, you're like, can I just stop for a few minutes and not say anything?
Right. I call it just being overstimulated. Like that's how I feel when I get home. And sometimes I'm grumpy and I'm just like, guys, I need like 10 minutes. Like nobody talk to me. Nobody look at me. Nobody ask anything of me. I just need this time. So I do try to go in the backyard quite a bit and just like chill, like in a chair in nature with my sparkling water. My dogs are running around. And then, the children may approach cautiously. See if it's okay.
Because otherwise they see the other side of Mama.
Yeah.
And it might be Mama Monster.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you ever have that experience, but I'm like,
my kids call it something different.
Oh.
They call it Mommy's teacher voice.
Oh.
So I know then that I have to like take a step back and just kind of breathe a little bit.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be more patient and loving with students at school than you are with your own children at home.
Right.
And that can be a challenge of being a teacher mom, right?
Yes.
And never away from the children.
And it's funny because I call my own children friends. I'm like, come on, friends, let's pick up our toys. And I'm like, so embarrassed. And my kids are like, Mom, we're not your students. I'm like, I know.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
And we've all done it.
I know. I'm having all of these. Yeah, my kids are older now, but I'm thinking of these. Yeah, all of these moments, and then they're like, "Oh yeah," she's like on like teacher rage mode now. Just like give her a minute to get it together. Woo! Yeah, for sure. All right, so I want to talk a little bit though about like this decision fatigue and how much work goes in behind the scenes. And we've talked about that. We've given numbers to that before. That's why our show is called 184 days, because that's actually the number of days in our particular contract, right? And we know teachers work well over the 40-hour, standard week. And
we
get
said
paid
54.
54, but we get paid for 36. So we know all of that, right? Okay. But we still love it, right? We still go there because we have that sense of like peace and joy and something that we're drawn to. But we're also still human, right? And we have other responsibilities. And sometimes the trials and tribulations of teaching can lead to something called burnout. But
I don't like that term.
Yeah.
I don't like the term burnout because honestly, it makes you sound like you have a problem. Oh, you're burned out. Oh, why? What's wrong with you? Right? I'm not sure that I think that that's the right terminology because I feel like teachers when they say, oh, they experience teacher burnout. Well, is that really like the root cause of the problem? I'm not sure.
Yeah. And I don't know, I kind of got on this kick a few months ago with that term because I realized, and I don't know where I initially read it, but the term burnout blames the person. And it seems like that term is saying you're not enough, right? You clearly don't have what it takes to last a long time in this job. Maybe you don't care enough. Maybe you don't work hard enough. Maybe you're not organized enough. Maybe you're not smart enough, right? And I saw an article that rephrased burnout to work expectations fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
So if you change that term burnout and say instead it's expectations fatigue, how does that then change the conversation?
Well, I would say that the work expectations, like expectations means things that are put upon you that other people are looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have expectations of you. And then when there's just so many of those all the time, then you get tired because you're constantly trying to meet things that are unrealistic, right?
Mm-hmm. I forgot what I wanted to say. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh,
you?
Yes. So thinking about burnout and expectations, right? So one reason why I left elementary and managing a gen ed elementary classroom, because I've done that for 18 years, except for 1 year as a strategist, was, I don't want to say burnout, but I want to say that I got tired of feeling like I wasn't enough. So every single day I dropped somebody's ball. There wasn't enough of me to go around for all of the needs that I had in my classroom. And we know that pre-COVID teaching, and I know people are sick of hearing it, but whatever, pre-COVID teaching and learning is not the same as it is now. So we're seeing that we have kids with more academic gaps, more behavior challenges, just more things going on. And I think we'll round a corner and it will get better. But I got tired of feeling like I wasn't enough. So the guilt that I felt every single day, knowing that I dropped somebody's ball. And the key was always, well, don't drop the same ball too many days in a row. But knowing that every day when I went there, what I did wasn't enough. And so I left every day knowing that a small part of me was a failure, right? Mm-hmm. And how do you live with that every single day? And then you have all these things that are coming down that you need to do, right? And you're like, but I'm doing a good job. I'm working as hard as I can. I'm getting there at 5:30 in the morning. I'm working on the weekends. I'm trying to differentiate and do all these things. So I was like, for me, finally, a way to fight the expectations fatigue or the burnout was to go, okay, let me try switching to a completely different age group, a completely different subject. So I'm not managing multiple subjects and kids that are coming in at all different levels in every subject. Now I have just the one subject, and let's see how that feels, right? But I still think, though, we have to talk about expectations and what is fair and reasonable for teachers.
Because a lot of times, and it depends on where you are at in your career too. Like as first and second year teachers, what is expected of you and what's expected of someone who's been in it 27 years, that shouldn't be entirely the same because you're still growing so much on your trajectory.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I've plateaued because I don't think I ever will, but my growth rate is a lot slower because I've been in it for so long and I have all that experience. But do you feel like you're given that space to learn, or is that something that you have to manage as well? What do you think, Tara?
I know I was very overwhelmed last year and quite a bit this year too. So I think there is a lot more training needed maybe beforehand, or I don't know when really, because there's just so much compacted into the day or into the week. So I don't know.
So you feel like the expectations were up here for you and you were just trying to grab at them and just weren't really feeling all that successful at like trying to meet all those expectations of you from parents and administrators and teachers and because it's not just one person having expectations, for you, right?
Yeah. Everybody wants a piece.
Definitely.
Yeah,
for struggle for sure.
And then what about fun things that you do in your own time? Have you found that school year you is different than summer you?
Oh yeah.
Let's talk
look
about
at the
summer me.
smiles. I like summer me.
I know. She's
Don't
great.
you like summer me?
She's so easygoing and happy all the time.
I know. Well, I realized this a few years ago that like in the summertime, I'll pick up books and I will read for fun. I really enjoy like reading books for fun, but during the school year, I just can't manage it. I'm just tired and I don't want to like think. And so I don't read for fun during the school year. So 9 months out of the year, I don't get to really read and enjoy books the same way. I'll read teacher books, but those are not necessarily, those are like teacher learning books, not so much for reading for enjoyment. So I think that changes for me, that summer me has a lot of fun reading books and school me, not so much. Anything for you guys that you like realize, wow, I used to think that was more fun. It's not so much fun anymore.
Like I would say just shopping. Going out and doing things with the family. I can't do that as much as like at 8 o'clock, I'm in bed. I'm tired. I want to be, I want to go to sleep. But I haven't experienced the summer yet, summer me as a first year teacher.
Right.
But I used to read all the time. Now I'm reading my lesson plans and everything.
Right.
It's like reality now, and definitely has changed.
Right.
Anything fun you used to do for, as an adult, and now you're like, yeah, I don't have any time for that.
I think just eating 3 square meals and snacks a day would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not eating and running at the same time, right? Gosh.
Shoveling
Making
your food
coffees
in your
instead
mouth.
of having lunch.
Right, exactly. Like being able to sit down and eat. There's
Yeah.
an idea, novel concept in teaching, is that you can actually eat for like longer than 15 minutes. So
Yep.
So I do have a fact here. This is from Education Week. There was a study done and it found that teachers are nearly twice as likely as other working adults to report having difficulty coping with job-related stress, and 10 percentage points more likely to experience, and they said burnout, but we're going to say expectations fatigue. Okay. And then we know, I know we're not doctors, but I think we all know enough to know that long-term stress can have some negative impacts on your health, right? So mental health issues, anxiety, depression. I know I don't exercise nearly as much as I would like, and it shows. Still fabulous, but whatever. I love to craft, like that creativity part, but like the thought of getting all of it out, setting it up, making the thing, and then putting it all away, I'm like, never mind. I'm just gonna sit in the chair in the backyard with the dogs. Like, have a minute here. So I do miss doing those things, and I wish there was a way to find a better balance. I always admire teachers that seem to have the balance, but they're so few and far between.
yeah, most of us are completely off balance,
Right.
and that's not a personality defect at all. That's just like that's the nature of the job. In fact, it was interesting that I was talking to her the weekend, and she was saying, I bought a membership to the gym, and I haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
And I thought, I get that. Like, Monday to Friday, I don't make it to go and exercise like I want to. But by the time I get home, all I want to do is, like you said, pass out in a chair, have some dogs here, and maybe eat dinner, watch a show, and go to bed. So I'm in bed by 8 o'clock too. So I think a lot of teachers are. And, that's just kind of your whole life is like wash, rinse, repeat. But it's like, teach, eat, sleep, repeat, right? And then and somewhere in there you squeeze in other little bitty things, but really that's who you are 9 months out of the year. You really don't get to be anybody else. And for the 3 months that you have off, there's not really 3 months, like 10 weeks.
Right.
Let's be real. And then by the way, you're back a week early because you're setting up your room. So okay, that's 9. So look at the math.
I know. Look at you doing backwards math. I'm so proud of you.
You should be, man. First grade, we can do backwards math. Oh, yeah. So it just makes you realize how little time we have as like adults to spend time doing other adult things that we like, right? That we enjoy, that make life super exciting. And I'm not saying that teaching isn't, super exciting and doesn't add value to our lives, because it absolutely does. Yeah. I'm not in 27 years thinking that I haven't had a really great, fulfilling career, because I absolutely think I did, have a lot of good years. But it also makes you realize, there is definitely a cost to being a teacher that maybe not everybody out there recognizes.
For sure. And then in Ed Week too, teachers said what they wanted was more time. more time and space to just do their job, do the things that were super important that directly affected kids, and less time doing like the paperwork and all like kind of that silly stuff that seems like maybe somebody else could handle it. Or somebody said, well, this would only take the teachers a couple minutes. Let's have them do this. Now let's have them do this. Now let's have them do this.
But it's those couple of minutes that one person gives you, and then another person gives you,
Mhm.
and then another person gives you. And by the time they're done giving you those couple of minutes, you're 10 minutes out. You know, if I get 3 different, flyers to put in my box that are put in my box, and now I have to sort those 3 and put them in their boxes, that has taken me more time, right? And so people don't realize, like we talked about this on a previous show, where 25 hours of your week, you are actually instructing children. And 29 hours of your 54-hour week is doing other tasks, right? And a lot of times it's administrative, it's filling out paperwork, it's, grading papers or whatever, but it's not the actual act of teaching. And a lot of times when people who aren't in the classroom with you are asking for more of your time, that's a real stressor on you, because you're like, this is tight to begin with, and now I have to give more, right? And so I can see why teachers say, I want more time.
Right.
What would you do if you had more time? Let's pretend. Let's have a pretend moment.
Oh, I love this.
Right. Let's say you got an extra 15 minutes prep time in a day. What would you do with that 15 minutes? I know this is a lightning round. What would you do?
Oh my gosh.
Jenny, what would you do with 15 more minutes if you actually had it?
Oh my gosh.
And if you say go to the bathroom, that's okay.
Right.
That's exactly what
Because
I was gonna
we're
say.
all good with that. You
I was gonna
you
say
are
that.
allowed to go.
Yes. That was our whole show last week. Okay. Drink your water and go to the bathroom.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, going to the bathroom takes up like 15 minutes of my
There you go.
prep
See,
time anyway. So
you're
I
like,
probably honestly would just sit there in the quiet of my classroom and just try and like reflect on my own self and like reset myself for the next part of the day,
Mm-hmm.
because now it's like go during your prep, and then you're like, oh, I gotta go get the kids again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's like, wait, where'd that 40 minutes go, or
Yeah.
half an hour, or however much time you
So
get?
Right.
It goes a lot faster than people think, and that I even thought before I did it this year.
Mhm.
Like, even as a sub, I was like, oh, I got all the time in the world. But now that I'm like in a teaching where I have lesson plans and I have
Yes.
to do all this stuff, it's like, oh wait, that's really short.
Yep.
Now that you have more accountability.
Yeah.
It's like it's your name on the door, or your name
Uh-huh.
on the roster, or whatever, and that
Yeah.
feels very different.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, hey, Ed, thank you for the comment. Ed says, as a father of one of your panel, I can't wait for this summer to see my daughter here in Missouri. So who's
Aw, yay.
That's my
Yay,
dad.
love that.
Spoil her.
That's Missouri.
Let her relax
Missouri.
for sure.
Sorry, Missouri. I'm from California.
Yeah.
So I say Missouri. Sorry about that.
No, we're from
John,
California.
you have a comment?
Yeah, I have a question for the 3 young ladies, the new teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've been here almost 50 minutes. How many of you are still going to be teaching tomorrow? Raise your hand. All right.
Oh, wait, I
We're
raised my
going
hand.
in tomorrow.
For sure. We're all about it. Did you guys want to add on about your extra 15 minutes?
Laminating.
Oh,
Yes.
There's something so satisfying about
It is. It's like just putting it in the little, machine, and you're just sitting there like, oh, another one.
Isn't it pretty?
Oh, another one. Like that's my quiet time is
Right.
laminating.
Yeah.
Like that's
And
Why
once
do
it's
that?
laminated, you never throw it away.
I know. It's so satisfying.
it is.
It is.
Yes.
But
Everything in your class is laminated.
it is. And
kids.
but I've gone through so much laminating sheets. It's like a pack of diapers. Like it's just, I'm buying them so much. It's because I'm laminating everything.
But it's keeping you like, it's like you're zen. You're like, no, I'm just going to laminate here. I'm really just, okay. All right, Tara, do you have one? 15
I usually
minutes.
do my grading at home, so I would grade during prep.
Nice.
I have
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice just to have time to do the things that they're paying you to do,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like it seems rather silly to say that, but in teaching, there's so many things that come at you throughout the day. And like we said, so many decisions that we make. Isn't it nice if you just had a little bit of extra time? So whenever, I don't know if you've ever had this, I know we had this experience when we worked together, but when your principal says to you, oh, we're canceling that meeting. Do you ever see teachers go, oh, darn? Or do you see them go, yeah,
Yep.
and they
Gosh.
run to their
Mhm.
rooms and like think,
More laminating.
More grading. I know.
Right.
I'm like Tara. I grade at home, and I'm trying to break that habit and use it that time wisely at work instead. Like get in the zone because I get
Yeah,
so
that's
like
hard.
I guess frantic at school that I can't clear my mind to grade, and I'm like, okay, stop it. You're teaching one subject. Get your life together.
Yeah, you
and
really need to pull it together.
Sit
Karen.
here and grade this here instead of doing it at home. But that's what I would do with my 15 minutes. I would go 15 focus minutes of grading right there. Don't even look out the window or anything like that in my classroom. Just be like, grade, grade, grade.
You have a window?
I have to. Into the interior hallway.
Oh,
Okay, don't get too excited about it. Okay.
I don't have any windows.
Yeah. All right, so I feel like our show is about done here. I'm trying to decide which meme I want to close with. So
Oh yeah,
I
that
think
one's
we're gonna
good.
go with slide number 9,
I
John,
love that one.
because apparently this is what people think Christy and I look like. So, yeah. So she might be a little younger than me, but you know, I feel like I'm still looking pretty good there.
Wait a second. That's me.
That's you in your chair after work with your dogs having your tea.
I believe I'm older than you, sadly.
I know.
So yeah, right for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, thank you to everybody who watched our show today, 184 Days Teaching Truths, people who chimed in on the chat. We did want to give a shout out to Lisa. You were up near the beginning and we apologize. We forgot. I blame Christy for that. She distracted me.
Wait a second. Wait.
Yeah.
It's got hit.
So if you are, catching the end of this and you want to see the whole show, how delightful and informative it has been, because remember, being informed is better than being opinionated, you can check out our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, WWDBTV. And as soon as I get my bio and headshot, we're going to be on Roku, people. So check in next week or next time. Make sure I did that.
Take an extra 15 minutes.
I know. That's how I'm going to spend my extra 15.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Getting
what she's
my
going to be
homework
doing.
done.
Right.
All right.
Thank you out there to all of you who participated today in the chat. We really do appreciate you watching live 184 Days Teaching Truths. I'm Christy, and we'd like to thank our panel today of Tara, Christina, and Jenny. You guys did
guys did
awesome
great.
job. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming,
you.
and we will see you guys later on. Have a good evening.
See ya.
Bye.
Glorious, glorious, gotta